According to your logic, God is not everything?
For me, I'd say God is everything, whether good
Including
whether good or
okay.
Faith, mystery, and the questions we are often too afraid to ask. This week, Anthony is joined by I-Cruzz, a devoted Christian, as they dive deep into the beliefs that shape identity, purpose, and the soul itself.
Do God want us to suffer? Do you think? Because
No.
it's hard, sometimes it's hard not to see so much suffering in this world.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder sometimes, is it by design? Why do we suffer? Is it God's plan?
They explore whether God created sin, what makes Christianity distinct from cults, and whether questioning your faith is an act of doubt or devotion.
the woman is not below the man.
But
He
the
is
helper is
like
below.
the man. He is like the man. Or rather, let me just put it like this: like the man, but still below the man, because there are things which a woman cannot do.
Because when it comes to faith, the answers are rarely simple. This is Breaking Boundaries.
Hi family, welcome to this new episode of Breaking Boundaries. Today I have a very special and interesting guest. That is I-Cruzz, my partner and friend.
Sir,
We are going to have a very interesting discussion about religion, music. I-Cruzz, I will start by saying you're a producer, right?
yes, I am a
But
producer.
that's not the only thing you are.
I'm not only a producer. I am
Exactly.
many things.
Okay, so you're a producer, you're a singer.
I'm a singer. I am a sound engineer, a journalist,
Okay.
also a minister.
Minister.
I mean, a minister of the word. So yeah.
Okay, what do you mean by minister? You
Okay,
work
by
in the
that-
government?
No, not really, but by ministration, I mean like more of a. I wouldn't want to say a pastor,
Okay.
but yeah, what do we call this? People who are called into priesthood. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
Okay, so that means you're a very religious person.
I am religious.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Since when? You are from a religious family?
Yes, I'm from a religious family, and all this began when I was young. I was born into a religious family, so it's something which I've grown up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people, they are born into religious families,
Mhm.
but then they decide to leave because to them, it doesn't make sense. So why
Yeah.
for you, it became part of who you are as an adult?
Okay. I may not be able to speak for them, but on my case,
Yeah.
I think that not even thinking, I know
Yeah.
that the purpose which I have, everything that I'm doing right now, it's connected to the end goal,
Yes.
right? That right now, me being a music producer, I am producing because there is a spirit which I'm releasing out there to people, right? Whether it's secular music or gospel music,
Yeah.
one thing that I may want you to understand is that all these are spirits. And for me now, when I say that I'm a minister, is the kind of spirit which I'm ministering out there to people. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to put out. So I grew up in this Christian family, and in regards to your question, I feel like it's just a personal decision that I took,
Okay.
because I may not, you see, I may be Muslim, I may be a Christian,
Yeah.
right? I may be a Buddhist.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, God is he omniscient? I think, yeah, that like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
But now when it comes to idols, now that is what brings the difference, because life is spiritual.
Okay.
We'll get to that as we go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that God is omniscient.
Yeah.
That means he knows everything.
He knows everything.
He's everywhere.
They're the attributes of God: omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent.
Yeah.
I think I meant omnipresent, like
Okay.
he's present everywhere.
But something that is interesting,
Yeah.
is that when you're saying God, you're using a masculine pronoun, he.
Yes,
So you're saying that God is a man,
God is a man.
but if God is everything and everywhere,
Okay, I wouldn't say God is a man. God is spirit.
okay.
But in this
Okay.
spirit, there's the aspect of him being a father.
Yeah.
So by him being a father, it means that a father is definitely a man. He's the seed bearer.
Okay, but
Yeah.
how can he be a father?
Mhm.
For you to be a father, you have to be not a mother, right?
Yeah.
But if God is everywhere and everything,
Mhm.
he has to be both the father and the mother.
Well, on the mother side, I wouldn't talk much about it
Because yeah.
because you see, the spiritual world is so diverse.
Okay.
It's just like space.
Mm.
Space has no it has no ending. You know, time is always continuous.
So God cannot be a mother.
God cannot be a mother. I don't think God can be a mother.
So there's something that God cannot be. But I thought
he is everything.
But he
But
cannot
then
be
he,
a mother.
in his kingly attribute, or in his attribute as the supreme being, he is the creator.
Yeah.
Meaning that all these motherly and fatherly attributes are in him, but now the dominant part is him being a father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's everything, but not a mother.
He is everything, including a mother. But the dominant part is the fatherhood in him.
Okay. So God is also a mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say that. I
Okay,
won't
that's-
agree to that, but okay. It's looking at on the gender side.
Yeah.
I will not say that God is a mother. But
Yeah.
now on the spiritual aspect, I will say that he is both a father and a mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very
That's why he
interesting.
says he is everything and
So
he's everywhere.
What else? What other character does she, God has? Because you say that he's both. So
Well, I would say he. Because when
Okay.
I say she, there is we can break it down a little bit. Huh?
yeah.
When I say on the she aspect,
Yes.
there is the Holy Spirit. And this is something which I just learned over my years in Bible study.
But the Holy Spirit is part of God.
Yeah, it's part of God. And that's why I said he is everything and everywhere. Like he is,
So is she as
he
well.
is the creator. So him being the creator, he can become anything he wants to be. If he needs to become,
A woman.
he will be. If he needs to become an animal, he will be. If he needs to become this flower, he will be. That is why he appeared to Moses as a burning bush.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So he can. Okay. I understand. So what other traits do God have?
Well, like we were taught in CRE, he is omniscient, omnipotent, and all this omnipresent. He can be. He has many sides of him
Okay.
Yeah.
So is
beyond our understanding.
is he also omni-loving?
Omni-loving. He is loving.
Okay.
He can only be loving.
He can only be loving.
Yeah.
So hate cannot be part of God.
Hate cannot be part of God. Now, what I can say is hate comes from the point of the attributes where now what causes hate? Sin causes hate.
Yeah, but okay. Can something exist without the willing or without God? Like, because God creates, we say that God created everything.
Yes.
So there's nothing that can exist without God having created it.
Yes.
So even the sin is it's God's creation.
Sin is as a result of the rebellion of the spiritual.
But that possibility was made by God.
There was a possibility because of one thing. When God created man,
Yeah.
or rather when he created the heavenlies, and that is, let me just say Lucifer to be specific.
Yes.
He gave him dominion, right? Lucifer was among the most trusted. Actually, he was the most trusted cherub in the heavenlies. But what God gave him was the leadership. He gave him power. And
Yes.
this power, since Lucifer wanted to be like, you see, he wanted to be like God. He came to a point where he thought that he knew much more than God. And
Yeah.
through this is now where sin developed in him,
Yes.
right? It did not develop in God. God created him. But then sin developed in him the moment he saw himself higher than God, wiser than God, more powerful than God. That is why he tried to control a third of the heavens and brought them down to earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this knowledge you just eloquently gave to us, where does it come from? Is it the Bible or is it?
Well, I take it from life's lesson, number one. Secondly, also from the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the Bible is like our manual as to why we are alive today. Everything in this world has a manual. When you buy your phone, you are given within the box. There's also a manual on how to operate it.
Yeah.
Now, for us as human beings, this is our manual. The Bible is our manual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. So the Bible is like the guidebook of your faith,
Of humanity.
not just humanity, not just you, but humanity.
Humanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And do you think you will still believe that if you were born in Saudi Arabia, for example,
Mhm.
how will you believe that?
Well, now this comes in the point of religion.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between religion and spiritualism.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very big
What is
difference.
the difference?
Religion is like a gathering,
Yes.
because the word religions comes from from the word legion.
Yes.
Legion means many. Means like a reuniting.
I didn't
Reuniting
know
of
that.
the reuniting of many. Now, this is what came into the word into the term religion. But you see, spiritualism goes beyond the aspect of followership. It goes to the aspect of the spiritual aspect, where now you believe in a higher being. And now in spirituality, there are two things. There is light and there's darkness. There is no center point. There's no
Yeah.
gray area in that. Yeah.
So basically, religion is like the following of a certain set of beliefs,
Yeah.
and spiritualism is a personal journey.
It's a personal journey. And also, through that personal journey, there is the ultimate source of your, what can I say? Ultimate source of your light, or rather darkness, which you follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do God want us to suffer? Do you think? Because
No.
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard not to see so much suffering in this world.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder sometimes: is it by design? Why do we suffer? Is it God's plan?
It's not God's plan for us to suffer, because in the beginning He created Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
In the book of Genesis, when you come to look at that book, He says He created man and the Garden of Eden, because this is the perfect place where He placed man.
Yeah.
Right? And this man that He Himself created, He breathed His life, His spirit in him.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there was also other creations. Yeah, there are other men who did not have the spirit, the likeness of God. Yeah. Now that goes deeper, and that's why I told you it goes deeper than just knowing the Bible, Genesis to Revelation.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are other books, the Torah books, right? Now these books are Maccabees, Tobit, all these books now explain the creation process, the creation story, even the book of Noah.
Yes.
It has an in-depth knowledge concerning these particular attributes, or other things which I've said.
Yeah.
Concerning now man existing beyond Adam and Eve.
Okay. So you said that the Bible is the guidebook for humanity.
Yes.
So that means everything that is in the Bible is true.
Everything that is in the Bible is true. And I have proof to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a question that I have, right? So if God does not wanted us to suffer, why did He created Lucifer then? Because you said that Lucifer is like the origin
Yes.
of the human suffering.
I would say that.
You will say that, right?
Yes.
So why did God created him, knowing that he will do what he's doing now? Because God knew when He was creating him, right?
True.
So why did God created him, knowing that he will come and try to make humans suffer?
Okay. Now, you see, when God created Lucifer, it's not that He did not know sin was going to happen.
So he knew.
He knew.
So he's the one who created sin as well, right?
He did not create sin.
But you said that
There
God
is a
created
point. There is a
everything.
point of Him creating Lucifer, and now Lucifer becoming sin.
But when He was creating Lucifer, he knew that Lucifer would become sin because He knew everything.
Okay, let me put an example like this.
Yeah.
Perhaps I have water in this glass, right?
Yeah.
And I want to put it in a glass which looks U-shaped or rather concave. Concave is the best word I've used right now. But it will take the form of this particular bottle.
Yeah.
Now, when God created Lucifer, he had a perfect plan. His plan was redeeming, or rather Lucifer becoming his most trusted cherub, and him now having to bring light unto the creation which he had created on earth.
Okay.
That was the man.
So that was the plan
there. So that was the whole plan.
So that was the plan of God.
Yes. But now
so that was the
sin
intention
was not
of
created
God.
by God.
Okay, so that was the intention of God.
Yeah.
And his intention did not work as the plan did not went as planned, right?
Well, I'd say that.
So God made a mistake.
He did not make a mistake.
When you do a plan and it doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, is it a success or a failure?
Well, it is a failure. But now,
So
in
God
regards to that,
yeah,
I wouldn't call it a failure.
because this is
Why?
God.
He knew, and he had the chance of wiping everything out, including the angels, the cherubs, the seraphims, and creating a perfect family. But now, him being a just God, him being a fair God, he created people because the heavenlies, or rather God and the angels back there,
Yeah.
this is like a family, right? The same way Lucifer and the demons are like a family. They work together. So what God needed was companionship. From my understanding of the Bible, God needed a companion. Not only just people who will worship him, people who will reason out with him. And this is why he created man. But then when he created Lucifer, he was like a light bearer. He was supposed to be like the Jesus, the first Jesus of that pre-Adamic creation.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be that. The Jesus of the pre-Adamic creation.
Yeah.
But what happened? Along the way, Lucifer became sin because he wanted to be like God.
So God created someone who became sin, knowing that he will become sin.
Yes.
Why?
There is a point of...
So basically, he wanted his plan to fail.
No, there is a point of I am giving you liberty, right? Suppose I have a gun right now.
Yeah.
You come give me a gun.
Yeah.
You will trust me with this gun to protect everybody within this particular environment, right?
Yeah.
But if I turn this gun against you, it means that it's me by my own will.
Yeah, that's true.
I have done it against you.
Okay.
And if you're powerful enough, you know that I have a mechanism that this gun will not shoot at me, because when it's pointed directly at me, there's a mechanism that it will not work.
Okay.
So that is God.
Okay. So let's use your example, right?
Yeah.
So if I give you a gun and I know 100% that you will shoot someone and kill the person, and the death of that person is going to create a lot of misery and pain.
Yeah.
Am I responsible for the pain that you did? Because I gave you the gun, I knew exactly what you were going to do with the gun.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that I'm responsible for whatever pain you created?
Well, I would say yes, and I would say no, because you see, responsibility comes from a very personal point.
Yeah, I agree.
And the moment you gave me that gun, you gave me that gun not with the intention of killing,
but I know your intention. Even if I don't have the intention, doesn't change the fact that I know your intention.
Yeah.
So is it really so if you do harm to someone, am I responsible for the harm?
No, you're not. It's me who is responsible.
So basically, so what you're saying, right, is that if the government maybe decide to go to a location where a lot of people tend to be criminal, and just drop weapons there, and then these people start harming citizens, does that mean it's not the fault of the government to do?
You see, when it comes to spiritual matters and physical matters,
no, this one is just logic. Yeah,
the dynamics do change, and that's why we can use logic.
Yeah,
but also, you see, the spiritual world is very, very diverse.
Okay,
I would want to use logic in this.
Okay, I understand. Okay,
but now God says in the Bible, His thoughts are not our thoughts. That whatever he has designed for us is not what we think. Whatever we think about him is not what even he has, right? So you see, by him creating Lucifer,
Yes.
he created Lucifer as a light bearer so that he could bring this light unto men. But what happened? Along the way, Lucifer saw that,
Yeah, that one I understand.
right?
Yeah.
So there is no way that we can say that now God made a mistake creating Lucifer.
Okay, basically, if in the physical plane, I give you, using your example, I give you a weapon, knowing that you have 100% chances of killing someone with the weapon. In the physical plane, I'm responsible for that, for the hurt that you did.
You're responsible for the weapon.
No, I'm saying, if I know 100% that you will kill someone if I give you a weapon,
Yeah.
then I give you a weapon, and you kill the person. Of course, you're responsible for the death.
Yes.
But am I responsible as well? Using the physical plane, like life, real life.
Okay, let me say in the physical, yes, you are.
Okay.
Because you gave me
So-
a weapon.
Yeah, knowing.
But then,
if I didn't
there-
know,
there-
you might say that I'm not responsible.
There is an option of you gave me this weapon. Did you show me, like, did you tell me do this or don't do this?
But I know that you want. I know what you want to do. I know your
Yes,
intention.
but was
I
there-
don't have to tell you to
Was
do.
there any agreement of do this or don't do this?
Okay. So if your neighbor is a criminal, right, and I drop a weapon in his house, in his compound, then I leave. You are less safer when he's with the weapons, right?
Yes. Well, I'm less safer when he's without the weapon.
You're less safer when he's without the weapon.
He's with sorry.
Okay, yeah,
my
when
bad,
he's
yeah.
with the weapon,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I don't have to tell him to hurt you. Even if
True.
I just drop the weapon and leave, you're less safer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're more likely to be killed or to be hurt. So the fact that I did not tell him anything doesn't change the fact that you are less safe.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to understand is, in the physical plane, we can agree that if I give a weapon to someone knowing that he's going to hurt someone else, even if I don't tell him anything, if he does, then I'm partially responsible for the pain he created, right?
Yeah.
So that logic, it doesn't apply when it comes to religion or spirituality.
When it comes to religion, it does apply, but when it comes to spirituality, the dynamics do change.
Okay, if you were to replace, in your example, right?
Yeah.
If you were to replace God by a man, like a man created something, knowing 100% that this thing is going to create chaos and pain, and the man created it either way, would you say that that man was a good man?
In all honesty, I wouldn't compare God to man because
I'm not saying to compare.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it's a man, let's forget about God. If it is a man,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you're not comparing. You're telling me if it is a man who creates something which creates chaos. Are you saying that man? Are you going to say that man is a good man?
he's not a good man because he created something that created chaos
Knowingly, right?
knowingly.
So if it is a man, then he's not a good man.
Yeah.
But if God does something which looks like exactly the same thing, then God is still good.
Well, this differs with the that's what I'm saying. You see, when it comes to spiritual matters, and I'll just stick to that point,
Yeah.
the dynamics change. Because you see that there's a verse in the Bible which says our thoughts are not his thoughts.
Okay.
See.
Okay. So, okay, what differentiate? I understand your point.
Yeah.
So, what differentiate your religion is Christianity, right?
Yes.
So you consider yourself a Christian.
I consider myself a Christian.
Are you aware of cults?
Occults?
Yeah, cults.
Cult, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, it's one leader creating a following.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah, true.
So the question I have is, what differentiate Christianity from cults? Apart because I know your first argument, you're going to say that God is not present in these cults. So apart from that, what else differentiate them?
Well, I wouldn't say all these things like I wouldn't. Number one, what is the meaning of a cult?
To follow the set of belief that of the cult. That's basically what is the cult.
Well, let's call Christianity a cult then.
Okay. Okay, so Christianity is a cult, right?
Well, let's call it that because
Okay.
if it's about religion,
Yeah.
all these things, I wouldn't. I would rather want to understand what is the meaning of a cult first, because if a cult is a set of people who follow a certain belief.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you a very simple definition, right?
Yeah.
A cult is a group of people who follow a set of beliefs
Yeah.
without questioning it. Because if they are allowed to question the beliefs, then it's not really a cult.
Yeah.
If debate is allowed, if it's allowed to think differently.
True.
But if you are not allowed to think differently and you are not allowed to question the set of beliefs, then it's typical of a cult.
True.
Yeah. So my question is, what differentiates Christianity from this other cult? What makes Christianity better?
Okay. Well, I'll start first with the meaning of cult.
Yeah.
It's a system of religious veneration or devotion directed towards a particular figure or object, or a person or thing that is popular or fashionable among a particular group or section of the society. Now, that is a cult.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you cannot question.
Well, you can't question, because even in the Bible, God says, "Come, let us reason together."
You said that you cannot compare God to a man. So
Yes.
I'm not allowed to question
That
God.
is from the understanding that we all have, that right now I'm breathing. Do you know why you're breathing? Do you know how air is formed and goes into the system and does all that it does, and you're able to bring it out and you're still alive years later?
Okay, so you can question.
You can't question.
So you can compare God to a man.
In comparison, no.
So basically you're saying
this is not where we go to idol worship.
you can question, but you cannot question God, basically.
You can question God.
So
you can question. You can question God.
Yeah.
Because there are things that happen in our lives. There are things that do happen in our lives, and we question God. Like the story of Job in the Bible. He questioned God. Why is all this happening to me? I've lost my family. I've lost my kids. I've lost everything.
Yeah.
And God asked him one question. Do you know the number of hair, in your head?
Okay, so you can question what God did, but you cannot question God. Because there he was questioning what God did, not God.
He was questioning God. And his actions too.
Did he ask God? Because he said that why do you allow this to happen to me? That means he's saying that it is God who allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not questioning whether God is God. He's just questioning the actions of God. So what I'm saying is that you can question the action of God.
Yes.
But can you question God himself?
Can you question God himself? Well, it depends on the kind of question. It's like asking God, how are you? How did you become?
So basically, there are some questions you cannot ask.
There are questions that are honestly beyond us. That's what I can say. They are honestly beyond us.
Okay, so you cannot. So there are some things that you cannot question.
I have the right to question each and everything, because without me, yes. I wouldn't. I don't know how to put this, but without me having to go to a point of unbelief, I am able to question everything. Like right now, we are having this particular conversation with you, right?
Yes.
Why are we having this conversation? That is the very first question that I'll ask myself. Is it for educational purposes? Is it to mislead people?
Mm-hmm.
Is it for a certain agenda? Now that is me questioning the whole motive of this particular conversation.
Okay, for me personally, I don't know for you, but for me personally, it's just to learn from you.
Okay,
that's why I ask so many questions.
Yeah.
Or should I not question?
You should question. You should question, and I'm actually humbled by that. But you see now on matters spiritualism, there are things which are beyond me. I'll be very honest with you, because in as much as I know the Bible, in as much as I've interacted with the Word of God and I've had communion with God, there are things which I also question. Myself.
So there are some things. You said that it is the Word of God. That means basically everything that is in the Bible is like God speaking.
Everything.
Okay. So why should we not compare God to a man? I'm not saying you should. I'm just trying to understand why we should not.
Because he made us in our likeness and in his likeness.
Yes.
Meaning that there are other attributes that we resemble to him. Right? In his own image and likeness. Meaning that in his image, the way I look at you right now, I believe man has two eyes. He has one nose, one mouth,
Yeah.
all that. This is God. When I see you, I see God. So when a man of God speaks, I will not only look at him as a man of God, I will look at him and listen to him like God speaking. Now, this is the likeness of God.
Yeah.
But now the imagery is, this is a man of God. That is the imagery of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, I want to ask a bit about the Bible, because you say that it is the word of God.
Yeah.
In the Bible, there are some verses that are a bit confusing for me. So I'm wondering, how should we read the Bible? If let's say I'm 8 years old,
Yeah.
and I'm reading the Bible, should I read the Bible as an 8 years old?
Yes.
Okay. So if I should read the Bible as an 8 years old, should I follow whatever the Bible is telling me to do?
Well, it now depends on the willingness of the heart. Again, also, you see, these things, I would say follow the Bible, but you also have the right to question, because you cannot just give me
I
a
agree.
book
Yeah.
and you just tell me this is the word of God, and
Yeah.
you expect me to trust you.
Yeah.
No, I will
Yeah.
be lying to myself.
Yeah.
That will be a false religion.
Yeah.
It's upon me to make sure that this particular word talks about the truth, which I believe in. Now, now comes to the spiritual aspect, because for us as Africans, there's one thing that I'd want you to understand. Before the Bible came through,
Yeah.
we had our own religions.
Yeah.
Like back here in Kenya, we used to, there are tribes which used to worship mountains. There are tribes which used to worship rivers.
Yeah.
Others used to worship so many other, other things.
Yeah.
The sun and all this. But now, this is where God says he is present everywhere.
Yeah.
He is present everywhere. A proof to that, when you go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, I guess, he says, when he was speaking to John in the island of Patmos, he said one thing. When I looked up, his eyes were like a ball of fire. Right?
Okay. Are you still saying if a 8-year-old should read the Bible, should follow the Bible?
No, I'm just giving you an example
okay.
before I get to that.
Okay.
Now, John says his eyes are like a ball of fire. His hair as white as wool.
Yeah.
Right? And he was in the day of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the day of the Lord means, number one, God called the light day. See? When God called the light day, and John was in the day of the Lord, meaning that he was in the Lord himself. Now, this is why God was able to let him see the spiritual things or the things that are yet to come. Right? But now, as an 8-year-old, I'll just get to that
Yeah.
But now, as an 8-year-old, you have given me a Bible. I expect you to guide me. You can't just give me a Bible and you expect me to be all understanding in that. No, that will be lying to me.
Okay, so an 8-year-old by himself cannot understand the Bible?
I would say with number one, education. With education, like
I
the
said by
basic
himself.
education, he knows how to read the Bible.
How to read, not how to read the Bible. Like, someone with
understanding the Bible, like there's this and this.
Like, if the Bible says you should not kill, that means the 8-year-old can just know, okay, I should not kill. He doesn't have to process anything.
According to the what can I say? You see, as we grow, the mind has different stages.
Yeah.
Now, as an 8-year-old, I believe this is a person who, once you give simple instructions, the instructions which are meant to go to the older generations, and others which are meant to go to the younger generations. So do not steal, do not kill, do not covet, do not, This is what even God gave us as the 10 commandments, the simplest things.
Yeah.
So for an 8-year-old, I would say he can understand the Bible. He can understand certain parts or certain elements in the Bible, not all.
Okay.
Yeah.
If somewhere in the Bible, okay, so what he can understand on the Bible, he should follow. Basically, that's what you're saying. What he cannot understand, he should look for an assistant for that. But what he can understand, he should follow.
I would say that. If he can understand it, and he knows from a point of from understanding means that he knows that this is true, this is not true. he can follow that. Because
What do
now
you
that
mean
comes
this is
choice.
not true? There are some things in the Bible that are not true.
I'm just saying on a general perspective.
Okay.
On a general perspective. He gets to understand that perhaps you let me not quote the Bible, but now on just any other book. Right?
Yeah.
Just give him a book, and you expect that this child will be able to understand this book.
Yeah.
For the simple things, what is 1 + 1? He'll be able to understand 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
But when you give him 10,000 plus 3,000 plus 586 minus, all this.
Yeah.
That is the
He needs
complication
assistance
also.
for that.
Yeah.
But,
so for me, I'd say in regards to Bible, there is a protocol, and there's also growth with maturity and age that comes with that, and even in wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking that is because there are some verses in the Bible that, as I was saying, I feel like if someone just listen and follow without trying to twist the words, feels like it's not going to be very good to do so. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Maybe you explain to me.
Okay.
So there is a verse which says that Samuel 15:3.
Mm-hmm.
Now go and strike Amalek, kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this was God instructing to kill man and woman and even child, right?
Yeah.
So if God is loving and he doesn't like violence, why say that?
Okay, now let's begin from that. God said, go and kill, go and put under the ban, attack the Amalek, put under the ban. Okay, my Bible is kind of different, but he said, do not spare him. Kill men, women, children, infants, oxen, sheep, camels, and donkeys.
Yeah.
From now, this particular verse, there is also a context behind why God ordered that.
What is the context?
I may not be able to understand because I have read this book, but it's been a while. I may not be able to clearly say, but I know that when this happened, there was something which was happening behind that. And God said, now clear this whole generation.
If I'm not wrong, I think the context there is Samuel, he was attacked by another, how do you call it? Another army, another kingdom. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So Samuel was attacked by another kingdom. I'm not sure I'm 100% right, but I think God asked Samuel to take revenge and go and kill everyone in that kingdom. So I think that's the context. Is it enough for you to explain?
Not really.
Okay.
But you see, from what I can say, from the understanding which I have from that book, I read it a little bit a long time ago.
Yeah.
One thing I understand is that there was something which caused God to order the killing of this person.
Yeah, that was the attack of the other kingdom. The kingdom came and attacked Samuel's kingdom.
Yeah.
So God instructed Samuel to go and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you see, beyond that, there's also something deeper and more sinister as to why God had ordered the killing of that. And if I may just add on to that, I think just some few pieces coming through. There was the mixing of or rather religions which God did not want. Is it not religions per se, but you see the way men were breeding with beasts and all these things.
Okay, so there were things that were not allowed by God.
Yeah, there are things which were
doing.
Unnatural that caused now the slaughter of this particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, God, who created everything, created these people knowing very much that they were going to do ungodly things, and then asked for their destructions.
Well, that is why he gave them a chance to repent.
But why create them in that way in the first place?
You see, man was given free will to choose between right and wrong.
Okay. So they had free will. They chose to not follow God.
Yeah.
So God decided to punish them by killing them
God
after giving them a chance to repent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of one thing. You see, if the world was like that, it means that the world will be chaos. And when you go back to Genesis, you find that the scripture talks about in the beginning,
Yeah.
the world was without form and void, full of darkness. Right?
Okay.
And the Spirit of God hovered around or above the waters, meaning that there was destruction which had happened initially, so that the world would have become dark, void, and formless.
Yeah.
Right? So beyond that beginning, there was something which was happening.
What
There
does
was
it have to
chaos.
do with these people? I think.
Now,
yeah.
Getting back to that,
Yeah.
there's the point of free will.
Okay.
This is the same thing which God gave everybody, including the angels.
Okay. So basically, God gave us free will
Free will to choose between right and,
and
wrong.
wrong. So that means we have the choice.
We have the choice.
Okay. That means we can do. So that means God cannot make us do some things. He cannot force us to do some things.
He cannot force us to do some things.
But you said that God can do everything.
He can do everything. But he cannot force us to do some things. Now, it depends on the context of what are we being forced to do.
But you are contradicting because you said God can do everything.
God can do everything. That's
but he
true.
cannot make us do some things. That means there are some things, by definition, he cannot do everything.
He cannot force us to do some things.
Yeah. So forcing us to do something is doing something, right?
Okay.
So you say that God can do everything.
God can do everything.
If God can do everything, that should include forcing us to do things that he wants us to do.
Yes, he can.
He can.
He can.
So that means there's no free will. Or he can, but he choose not to.
Okay. He has the ability to do that. He can force us to do things. Right?
But
like right now, if I was, I wish I had the powers. But if I had powers right now, I would force this glass to move. But I still choose to let this glass settle there. Right?
Okay, so basically we have the free will because God allows us to have the free will.
Yes.
He chooses to let us have the free will.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he allows us to have the free will, right? That means because he created everything.
Yeah.
So he created good, he created bad. Because God created sin, right?
Sin was created by the evil which Lucifer did.
Okay, so God did not create everything.
Sin did not exist in the creation when God became, as per the scripture, as per the understanding which I have, sin was not there because he was light. And I may not understand the beginning of God, but when God became, let me just say that when God became, because there's no other word that I can put, there was no presence of sin. Now, sin was as a result of the free will that we have been given, that we have a linear direction. Now, in this linear direction, I choose to break the pattern.
Okay, I understand your point. So if I create the atomic bomb, and then the atomic bomb causes destruction, have I created the destruction?
You have created the destruction itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that means he created the sin because he created someone who created the sin, knowing the person who created the sin.
In that context, I would.
Because it's God, it's not the.
I wouldn't argue in that basis. That's why I said one thing.
So basically, because it's God, we should not use logic.
We should use logic.
Because according to logic, you yourself, you say that if I create a bomb, the bomb kill people, then I'm responsible for the death of these people. So by the same token, we should be able to say with logic that if God created someone and this person created sin, then God is responsible for the sin.
Okay, let's let me go with the idea of yes, God created sin. All right.
Okay, so now
let's take it from there now because I'd also want to understand why was this sin? Why did God create sin? Because it's not for me to answer. It's for me to also understand.
I just try to understand. Yeah.
It's also for me to understand because one thing that personally I understand, God is light. And where light is, darkness cannot comprehend. And that was God from the beginning.
But how can God be everything and God has created everything, but you say that in God there cannot be darkness? Everything includes darkness.
Everything includes darkness.
So that means God created darkness.
That is a very deep question, to be very honest. It's very deep, which I may not be in the position to answer. Because, you see, beyond the beginning, beyond existence, he was,
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond every other thing, he was. That is why we are breathing. That is why we are living today.
Yeah.
I may not be able to answer some questions, because now that means that perhaps I have an in-depth knowledge about God. Means that I'm not a real person.
Yeah.
I'll answer it. I'll only answer according to the guidelines and according to the understanding which I have concerning who God is to me, who God is to people, and
Yeah.
the kind of God whom I've served.
Yeah.
And I've seen work wonders. in
But you say
people's
that
lives.
God that you have served.
Yeah.
Why would God need you to serve him?
Because at the end of the day, he needs us to be light bearers to each other. The same way I'm enlightening you right now.
Yeah.
Somebody else also enlightened me, right? There are things which I took from them. There are things which I also rejected from them.
Yeah, but it's a contradiction because can you need something that you have?
Well, man was born, or was rather created,
No,
to serve God.
I'm not talking about God. I'm just saying
Okay.
usually,
Mhm.
can you need something you don't have? Like you have this glass of water,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you need water? For you to
If
need
I-
water, you need to not have the water, right?
Inside me, yeah?
Right?
Yeah.
So can you cannot need something that you don't have?
Well, like I said initially,
Yeah.
when God created man, he created man with the purpose of family. And that is why there's a place where he says he is coming to marry the church.
Yeah.
What is the church? Is the gathering, me, you, or where two or three are gathered. That is where my
Yeah.
presence is.
Yeah.
Now that is what we call a church. Right.
Okay.
So in this gathering, now that goes to your point where we talk about cultism, religion, and all these things.
Yeah.
But now there is a gathering which has been separated specifically for God. All these other gatherings, they are there. And there's a verse in the Bible that says, surely they will gather, but not by my name. And in the same way they gathered, I will scatter them in 7 different directions, because they are not called by my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was asking, do God needs, you said that God needs things from us, right?
Yeah.
So that means he doesn't have these things.
He does have these things, but
But
you
you
see,
said
for
that
us
you-
to exist,
Yeah.
for this, for the physical to exist,
Yeah.
the spiritual must be there.
Yeah.
Now, God does need the help of man to operate in the physical world, because if he comes himself as God and starts operating, it means that we cannot stand his presence. The world is literally destroyed.
So God cannot come in such a way where we can stand his presence.
If he comes physically, like here he is right now, none of us will be existent. None.
Okay, so he's destructive.
His presence and his glory is too much that we cannot contain. It's not that he's
So he's going to
destructive.
destroy us.
It's not that he's destructive. His presence is
He's
too much.
destroys.
It's like
If something
right now.
kill
I just
you.
come. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Right now, I come and we're seated right here,
Yeah.
and you just come to discover that I'm among the top officials in the most powerful country in America, and as we're having this conversation,
Yeah.
I make you the president
You make me the president.
of the most powerful nation in the world.
Yeah.
You will, for some reason, you'll go crazy.
Why?
In as much as you try to compose yourself, you look at these things and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with all this. You see?
No. But I don't. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I feel like in such a case, if I'm slightly crazy, putting me there might amplify everything because of the
Yeah.
power and the possibilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it might make me even more crazy.
Mhm.
But I don't think it is the position that made you crazy. It's just that the position amplify whatever was in you.
It's not about the position, but the power in the position.
So basically, you're saying that power makes people crazy.
Power does not make people crazy. Power reveals who you are.
Exactly, that's what I was saying.
Right.
I was saying
Now,
it amplifies.
if at all you are powerful
Yeah,
and you're a wicked person,
yeah,
you will be a powerful, like a powerful wicked person.
yeah, exactly.
And if
Yeah,
you're powerful and you're good,
yeah,
you will have power, and the good inside you is
Yeah.
what is going to spread all over.
okay. So you're saying that if God comes, He's going to amplify who we are,
Yes,
good or bad.
either way.
But why is it going to kill all of us? So we are all bad.
It's not about killing. When we say we may not be able to stand his presence,
Yeah.
it means that, you see, like this light right now, it's kind of making me sweat, right?
Yeah.
If it's making me sweat, now imagine God says he is light, he is the sun,
Yeah.
right? If the sun just came a kilometer down,
Yeah.
would you stand the heat? Would you stand the presence of that particular radiation, or rather the light itself?
Ah, okay. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying
It's
to
too
say.
bright for us.
It's too bright. I mean, his presence, his glory is so much that us in our physical bodies
Yes.
cannot contain.
Mm,
You know,
Okay.
and that is why even in the Bible, there's a place which says that the 24 elders and the cherubims, they all look at him and say, "Glory, glory," when they're bowing down to, because every time they wake up, they see a new face of God, right? It's like there's another glory that just, you look at him, he's changed. You're like, Hosanna. You wake up, he's changed. That is the presence and the magnificence of God.
But if he wants to come, why can't he change it and take a form that we can tolerate?
Because he's God. That I
So he cannot
answer.
do something because he's God?
That I cannot answer.
I
Because
don't. Okay.
if he appeared to Moses like a burning bush,
Yeah.
and he also had the ability to appear to him as God, like, here I am.
Yeah. But that form is too powerful.
It's too powerful.
Yeah, understand. The same
Too
way
powerful.
the analogy you took with the light is a very
Yeah.
good one. So I understand now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that God created man with the purpose of the family,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So that means God created man because he wanted us to multiply.
Yes.
But why does he create us to multiply, but at the same time he creates things that are going to keep us from multiplying, like wars, sin, murder, all these things?
Okay. God did not create war.
But he created whoever created war.
He is everything, meaning that he is war.
Yeah.
He is
Murder.
I mean, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
murder.
you said that he's everything.
He is everything. Okay, let's
You cannot
just put
say
it like
you
that.
cannot say that he's only the good
Okay,
things.
let me go with you.
It's
Let me go with
everything.
your point.
Yeah.
Okay, he is everything. Meaning
Yeah.
that if you want to call him murder, he is murder. But
According to your logic, not mine.
no, I've said he is everything.
So God
There are
is
things, there are
murder.
attributes which I may not relate to God. There are some certain attributes which I may not relate to
But
God.
someone cannot be everything and not something.
God is a terrible God, but not a wicked God.
Okay.
He is a terrible God, meaning that he can decide to finish you off right now, but he's
Yeah.
not wicked. You see, now wickedness comes from a point of he doesn't love, he doesn't give us the ability to be at peace. It means that I have to torture you each and every time that you're alive.
Okay, so God is not everything,
He is everything.
including
But
wicked.
now some certain attributes are what now people are trying to taint the name.
No,
or the
I'm not trying
glory.
to taint.
No, I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
But now it's I've heard of this so many times, and I'm just saying this generally. Okay. I'm just saying this on a general perspective,
Yes.
on the sense that I have had atheists and so many people, even Muslims
By
themselves.
the way, I believe in God.
Yeah.
I'm not atheist. So I'm just questioning.
It's
I'm just
cool.
trying to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, in this particular aspect,
Yeah.
sometimes we as human beings come up with so many ideas and so many, we are trying to figure out God. We are trying to get everything that we can get from God. But one thing that we don't get is he is everything that we are not.
Okay.
He is everything.
Is God
that we are not.
everything or everything that we are not?
I think you're getting my point. Like,
No, I'm trying to understand the point.
you see, right now on my human ability, I cannot
Yeah.
make this glass to move, right?
God can
Even-
do that.
But if this is God, He will not only make the glass to move, He will make the glass disappear.
That one I understand. I know that God is powerful.
The reason why I'm saying this is because I've heard of people talk about so many things in relation to God, especially. Okay, I hate talking about this, but now the LGBTQ. God is for us all. That is true. But then is sodomy part of God?
Well, you said it's everything. So according to your this definition, it is. Because you
No.
said that that's your logic. You cannot say that. No, you cannot say that God is
It's
everything.
not my logic.
Then you should say that God is everything good.
Well, I'd say that God is everything good.
So God is not everything.
But he is also a terrible God.
So God is not everything.
He is everything.
So that
And
if,
everything good. He is life.
let's not run.
Okay,
If
let's
God
go.
is everything,
Yeah.
that means it is include the bad and the good, not just the good. Because if it is just the good, then God is everything good, which I
Okay.
does not disagree with. But that means God is not everything.
Yeah.
So
I
according
wouldn't-
to your logic, God is not everything,
For me, I'd say God is everything, whether good or bad.
including.
Whether good or bad.
Okay.
Because of one thing. There's a scripture that says everything happens. I mean, everything, whether good or bad, everything
Including wicked.
happens together for the glory of God.
Okay. Let's agree first.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you, but I just want us to have a good foundation.
Yes.
To build up on. So you said that God is everything.
God is everything.
Good or bad.
Good or bad.
That means God is wicked.
God is not wicked. You see, there's a point which I want you to understand. I don't want to contradict myself on this, right?
That's
I
what
don't
you're
want to
doing.
contradict myself on this.
Okay, yeah.
But when I say that everything happens together for good, right? Everything means whether good or bad, it has to happen together for good and for the glory of God. Why? Because without wickedness, you would not know peace. Or without war, you'd not know peace. Without hunger, you'd not know what satisfaction means.
Okay,
right?
so God had to create suffering so that we can appreciate peace.
I'll say that.
So he had to make us suffer so that we can go to him.
Not really. Okay, now this is a contradiction that I'm trying to. This is a contradiction which I'm trying to like shed light into.
Yeah.
Right. You see, when I say that God is everything,
yeah,
I may not put some things to him, right? Because of one thing, when God created the world, or when rather God became, he wanted peace, he wanted serenity, he wanted everything good to that. But then, due to rebellion and due to the personal
that he created.
Well, he created.
Yeah.
Due to that rebellion, the creation that he created rebelled against him. Now, from this creation came sin. Did he not know that sin would be there? He did. But then he gave them the free will to choose between right and wrong, good or evil. So the creation chose evil. And this was the birth of sin. Does not mean that he did not know that sin would be there. Sin was as a result of rebellion. So by that coming to life, sin multiplied. Right?
Okay.
Now, in this aspect, I know you'd say God is everything, right?
We already agreed on that.
Sin was as a result of wickedness that was in the heart of the angelic beings, that is Lucifer.
So God was not in the heart of this being?
God was not in the sin. God is not sin.
So God is not everywhere.
God is not sin. That is one thing I'm very certain about.
So God is not everywhere.
Sin. God is everywhere, but he is not.
But not in the heart of Lucifer.
Not sin.
Okay.
He is not sin.
God is not sin.
Yes, God is not sin.
So he's everything except sin.
He's everything except sin.
By definition, he cannot be everything. Everything means everything.
Well,
so God is not everything.
If you argue on that point, I'll have to agree with you.
So we agree that God is not everything?
Well, let's say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that God gave us the free will, right?
Yes.
But another question I have about that is, I'll ask you another question to illustrate what I'm trying to understand. If you are in a society, right?
Yeah.
A civilized society.
Yeah.
And part of what makes this society civilized is the fact that you cannot do everything.
Yes.
So you don't have complete free will.
Yes, we don't have complete free
will. Because if you go and kill someone, you'll go to jail.
Yeah.
So you don't have the complete free will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the fact that the consequences that you go to jail means that you are not free to do whatever you want. Right?
You're free to do whatever you want according to the laws and the
according to the laws
have been made, because these are the things which guide us as human beings or as a society to make life efficient, or rather equal to all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if what you want is kill someone, you cannot do that because of the laws. So you don't have complete freedom. We agree that, right?
Okay, yes, I do agree with that because of one thing.
Yeah.
What kind of a world will it be? if
I
everything
agree.
was
I agree. I agree.
Right?
I'm not saying that we should have complete freedom. I agree.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that we need you. You don't have complete free will, and it is a good thing,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
In society,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So how can you say that God gave us the free will when He punished us for not doing what He wants?
Okay, now the free will comes from the point of the decisions that you are making.
Yeah,
right?
it's the same thing. In
Yeah.
society, you can right now you can go and kill someone.
Yeah.
You are free to do that,
You're free to do
but you have to pay for it.
You will pay for it.
So that is the fact that you have to pay for it makes you not really free.
Now, that is now what every government has from the topmost government, which is God Himself,
Yeah,
that there has to be a structure which will make us
I
conducive.
agree. Without
If-
structure, you have chaos. Yeah,
And if we were not able to, like right now, we are doing this interview. If
Yeah.
there were no lights here, people will just be hearing voices talk. If there were no
Yeah.
microphones here, it means that if there are no microphones, but then the lights are there, the cameras are there,
yeah,
what will happen? People will just see mouths going.
yeah.
They will not understand what you're doing. Now, the coexistence of the microphone, the lights, and the camera, and all these things is what makes this particular podcast to become what it is.
yeah.
So for me, I'd say that free will has been given, but then there also has to be laws and regulations which govern this particular free will for us to coexist peacefully as humanity.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So free will can exist, but not 100%.
Not 100%. I mean, I also agree with that. I also agree with that. You see, because
So God did not
in
give us
that-
100% free will.
in that it means that you see, if there was 100% free will,
Yeah,
then it means that God would have no basis of creating even us, because what is the point of creating something which you don't want to, like, I want this to be like this. If I want this glass to face upside down,
yeah,
I'd do that. But then the free will is the ability of this glass to contain water. It can either contain half or full.
yeah,
Right? So if this glass decides it wants to fall down, I
Yeah.
have not touched it. The
yeah.
consequence of it falling down will be breaking. But then from me creating and it hearing it hearing me as its creator,
Yeah.
what will happen? I'll say, do not jump. Because when you jump, you will pour out the contents and you will break.
So this
Now,
glass
this
doesn't have complete free will.
It does have the free will, because within the circumference of this table, now this is the circumference of God's mercy and God's grace. Now this is where God can protect you. When this glass jumps, it means that it has no free will. It's not within God's quarters.
So basically, we are free to do only what God wants.
We are free to do that which we want. The glass can move around here because this is the environment that is conducive for the glass to be safe. Otherwise, beyond this environment, the glass is not at a safe position.
Yeah, I know. So that means the glass has to stay on the table.
It has to stay on the table.
So for his survival, the glass is not free to go above outside the table, right?
It has no ability. I mean, it has no right, rather.
Yeah,
Or-
to go.
Yeah, because one thing, if it does go, it will break.
Yeah,
Right. That is if nobody is holding it.
yeah.
You see, now this is God holding us, right? But then if God lets us go and He has removed us from His area of regulation, or rather His space of grace, it means that when this grace is released from
Yeah,
you, the
yeah.
glass will break. And now this is what people really don't want to there's a generation, or rather, which does not want to accept these things. And I'm not even judging them. I'm just saying this on a general perspective. There are things which are beyond us in terms of thinking, in terms of reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say that the fact that God holds us keeps us into safety, right?
Yeah.
So you are saying that God has to restrict our freedom for our own good.
Yes.
So there's no free will.
There is free will. In that freedom,
How can you give freedom
Listen,
and then take some part of it
in-
and say
in
that the
that
person is
freedom-
completely free?
in
Because
that freedom, it's not complete freedom.
yeah, okay, we
It's
agree
not
then.
complete freedom. It's freedom
So that's not
within
free.
the confines of God's grace. But beyond that, now that is your freedom which you are looking for. And you will get the result of that freedom which you're looking for, because God has not limited you to that. He has given you that freedom. Just a minute. He has given you that freedom. But the freedom that he wants you to enjoy, rather, is the freedom that you will be around his grace or mercy seat. But when you go out of that, you will have your freedom still. But then this freedom, you will be the one to control it. Since you want to play God, he will let you play God. And now the result that comes from that will be as a consequence of you going out of his grace.
So that means God gave us free will, but not 100% free will.
That's a very contradicting question. It's a very contradicting
Yeah,
question.
that's why
I'd
I'm
want to say
confused.
yes. I'd want
Yeah.
to say no. But you see, there's also what is the context of the free will?
Mm.
Because this free will, like I said, it has boundaries. Like
You-
God
you-
created man, he created man and said, I have given you dominion over 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
And he did not say, now that I've given you dominion, you can go get a lion and drape it.
Well,
You see,
he gave you the possibility of
he
doing
gave
that.
you the possibility of doing
Yeah.
that. But now on the logic and through his spirit, because now that is why he gave us his spirit, because his spirit is of righteousness, meaning that in righteousness, there are things which logically you do not have to do. You cannot see a man rape a chicken and you'll say it's okay, it's his free will. And you get the chicken and eat it.
Yeah.
Can you eat
okay.
I
Okay,
mean,
that's
you see?
okay.
Exactly.
I understand.
Now,
So
just a minute. This is what I'm saying. When we walk in the confines of God's grace,
yeah.
there are some certain levels of protection that he gives us. And now this is the spirit which he deposited in us. But then, even in these spirits, even in his spirit, no, there are other spirits within the world, within the world and beyond that also want to rule. Now, this is why there are demonic spirits and godly spirits.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And the purpose of all this creation was the family. That's what you said, right?
Yes, I'd say that.
Okay. So the family how is the family according to you?
Well,
Like, how did God intended the family to be?
for me, from what I read in the Bible or what I know in this word, is that God had a reason as to why he created man. Number one, he wanted a perfect creation in his own image and likeness that will be able to worship him in truth and spirit. That is for him being a king.
But
I'm
that's
heading there.
contradicting.
I'm heading there. I'm heading there.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular leadership
Yeah.
that he wanted, there was also the aspect of family where now I can come and reason out with him and say, God, I do not like the way things are going in my life. What am I supposed to do? You know,
Mhm.
and this is now the aspect of the family basis that I'm trying to bring out.
By the family, you mean the man, the woman, the children?
Let's just take an example with
Or
that.
should I say even women? Because there was men with multiple wives in the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, I wouldn't know that, but okay, it's
Well,
actually it's there.
yeah, I'm not
It's
inventing,
there.
yeah.
It's there. But you see, in this aspect, when I say family, I mean, let's just put an example of mother, father, and child, right? In this aspect, there is him being God the Father.
Yeah.
And then from the understanding which I have,
Mm-hmm.
the Holy Spirit, for me, this is my own understanding.
Yeah.
I tend to think, and I've heard so many people talk about this, the Holy Spirit seems to be the motherly aspect of God.
Yeah.
Why? Because he said, I will bring you a helper. And in the beginning, God says, let me give Adam a helper. Have
Okay.
you ever thought of that?
Yeah.
You see, so the
Understand.
Holy Spirit comes as the woman
Okay.
in the godly nature.
So the woman is just a helper for the man.
Is just a helper for the man. And then there's Jesus Christ, who is the result of the godliness, the Godhead, him being the Father, and the holiness of God, which is the Spirit. Being one, it gave Christ the ability to be Christ, because he calls God the Father and he calls Holy Spirit the helper. But then without the holiness in him, Jesus Christ will not be Jesus Christ. Without God in him, Jesus Christ will not be Jesus Christ. So there are these two attributes which have been joined to be one. The same way that a man and a woman will join themselves to be one, and the result thereafter is a baby. You will have this baby look one side like the mom, the other like the dad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this, for me, I tend to think and I tend to look at the Godhead,
Yeah.
that is the Holy Trinity, in that aspect. And
Yeah.
that is why I'm saying he needed a family.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So what I want you to enlighten me with is then what is the role of the man and what is the role of the woman according to what was God's plan?
The role of the man was leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, the role of the man is leadership, because without leadership, it will only be chaos. There has to be certain aspects that guide a community.
So you're saying that women cannot lead?
Women can lead, but you see, when I say leadership, I mean there are things which women cannot do. No, I'm telling you now. You know what Swahili means.
Yes.
Yeah. So for there are things which women cannot do, and this is just
Like what?
well, a woman cannot produce seed.
Yeah.
We are the seed bearers.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And that is now the leadership side. You would not see a woman do some heavy tasks, like, there's some things which you don't expect a woman to do.
But when you say that the woman is a helper for the man, that means because usually the helper is below the boss or the main person.
And that is, it's allowed.
So you're saying that
It's
the
allowed.
woman is below the man?
It is allowed.
Yes.
And I say, well, I don't know how to put this, but the woman is not below the man.
But
He
the
is
helper is
like
below
the man. He is like the man. Or rather, let me just put it like this: like the man, but still below the man, because there are things which a woman cannot do.
Yeah, but
But you see, God has built us differently, because now this is why a woman is a woman. You see, you see the testosterone,
Yeah.
which men have, women do not.
I agree, but there are also some things that women can do that men cannot do. But that
Exactly.
doesn't mean
like giving birth.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean the man has to be the woman has to be the leader because or is better or is superior because the woman can do some things that the man cannot do.
Okay, I'll put it like this:
Yeah.
when trouble arises right now,
Yeah.
suppose we've encountered a gang of thieves and
Yeah.
they're trying to attack us right now.
Yeah.
What will happen? The man will stand in front,
Yeah.
right?
If
Because it's his responsibility. This is by instinct.
Yeah.
It's his responsibility. Even when you look at animals,
Yeah.
when you go to the jungle right now and try harm a female lion, you will see the male come at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
that is why men are territorial, because these territories are now the what defines us as men.
Yeah.
You see, now the work of a woman is submission and also learning to guide the man on some 2-3 things, because you see, men we think with logic.
Yeah.
For us, we reason with logic. Women, they reason with emotion, and sometimes these emotions are also right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for us as men, we might start arguing, this glass, is it half empty or half full?
I feel like it's empty.
You see,
that's the way a woman will have answered.
but when I look at it, I'll say it's half full, because when I put in some water,
Yeah.
and
Okay, so for you, the man should be the leader.
the man is the leader.
Is
Not
the leader
should be,
or should be?
is the leader?
Really?
Yes.
Even if the man is does have less leadership traits than the woman.
Even if the man does not have legs, even if the man is a cripple, let me tell you the truth: a woman can never give birth. This society can never grow without the seed of a man.
But it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
But then, who has the key? We have the key. They have the lock or the docket to. I mean, you understand?
What are you trying to make me picture?
What
is the key? And what is the key? And what is the hole?
The seed, okay, by that I mean this.
Yeah.
The seed is like a key,
Yeah.
right? Because this is a ground
Yeah.
that I am putting my seed into. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is a ground which I'm putting my seed into.
Yeah.
And this seed will germinate.
Yeah. So you
Right?
you have the ground, you dig a hole, you put the seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, the woman is the ground. For us as the men, we are the seed bearers.
Okay. So the seed is better than the ground.
The seed is better than the ground. I don't know. But one
Because-
thing I'd say is
Yeah.
we are the seed bearers.
So
right?
the ground should follow the seed, basically.
That's exactly it, because there is the existence of the seed, which is the creation itself. When God created, it came as let there be. And there was.
I understand. So, from in the same token, do you think there are some things women should not be allowed to do?
A lot.
Okay, like
A
what?
lot.
Okay, let me phrase it differently. Do you
Yeah.
think there are some things that women should be allowed to do that men should not? That women should not be allowed to do that men are allowed to do?
But well, that depends on the context of the question. Because
Okay.
if we have an example, I'll be able to tell you, yes, this is allowed, this is not allowed.
But you said a lot.
Yes, a lot of things.
Like what?
Okay, now okay, how can I put this? I don't want to put this in the okay, let me give a good example, eh?
Okay, I can help you with that.
Yeah, sure.
In the Bible,
Yeah.
God seems to allow men to have multiple wives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it mean men for God it's okay if men have multiple wives, but it's not okay if women have multiple husbands?
I'd say yes.
Why?
Because of one thing. You see, DNA comes from that particular aspect of we all of us as human beings, we are
Yeah.
linked to God's DNA. That has
Okay.
been proven scientifically. It has
Okay.
been proven.
Okay.
So you see, as a seed bearer, you carry a certain genotype or a certain genealogy inside you. And this is why in the time of Noah, the men are multiplying and the angels had mixed with human beings. And they were giving birth to giants, monsters. And through now the knowledge which was there as per that time, the aspect of bestiality came in, and all this what we are seeing happening in the current generation happened back in the time. What am I mean by this? You see, when I carry a certain spirit inside me, that is, I carry an evil spirit inside me. Perhaps I'm a what can I say? What do you call a witch doctor in your
Yeah, just use the term. Yeah.
Yeah. If I am a witch doctor and I want to give birth to a lineage of witch doctors,
Yeah.
I will have to sleep with the woman for that seed to multiply. Now that life, or rather that generation, will be a generation of witch doctors, right?
Okay.
And you can imagine if this particular woman meets with a witch doctor, tomorrow she meets with I mean, think
An
of
accountant.
yeah, an accountant.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow, the other day, she meets with somebody who, a thief.
Yeah.
These things go by blood. Have you ever noticed if the father of somebody used to smoke, the child might end up smoking?
But that happens also in the woman's side.
I'm just saying. Saying, because of one thing, this particular. I'm speaking on behalf of men.
Yeah.
I'll get to women, but now
Yeah.
speaking on behalf of men, this is what happens. We are carriers of seed.
Yeah.
We are carriers of a certain blessing that only we as men have. Women, yes, God built us in that aspect. But let me just go to Genesis. I'll try just making it a little bit short. Genesis talks about where's my Bible?
So we are going to edit this part out, right?
Yeah. Okay, Genesis, I think I lost the book, but Genesis talks about God creating man.
Yeah.
By man, he meant man generally, both man and woman.
Yeah.
But then when we go to the depth of it, let me go to chapter 1 towards here. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, created him, male and female.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say man being the head. I'd say the male is the head. The female is below the male.
So men are superior to women.
The males are superior to the females.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
he said.
Yeah.
So for you, men are superior to women.
Men, women, we men. I mean, okay. I'm trying to put it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But now with the understanding, I'd say men are superior to women.
According to God.
According to the structures of the world.
We
According
are
to the
talking
structures
about
of the
religion.
world.
Because according to the structures of the world,
Mm.
Some structures will not agree with that, but we're not talking about societies.
Okay.
We are talking about religion. So according to your faith, Christianity, men are superior to women.
It's not only in Christianity. That's why I said according to the structures of the world.
Okay,
if you look at any feminine thing
Yeah.
that has life in it,
Yeah.
there has to be a dominant species. That is the male.
So
has to be.
according to the truth of the world, men are superior to women.
Men are superior. That is the grace which God has given us as men to be leaders. Ladies, or rather women, to be helpers.
So that means a man should be the leader. He doesn't have to prove himself. He just has to be a leader just because he's a man.
Yeah, you don't have to prove yourself that you're a man.
So if you have your daughter, right? And your daughter is married to a man, and the man becomes addicted to gambling, should he still be the leader of the finances of the house? In your opinion?
Now that is where a woman comes in. Because
Who should be the leader?
In leadership,
Yeah.
there are also things called choices. That is why even leaders themselves do have advisors.
But the advisor doesn't make the last decision. I did not say that the woman will not have a say, right? I'm saying the leader is the one taking the final decisions, right?
The leader will make the final decision according to his understanding. Now, if he chooses to listen to the advisor, which is the woman now, in our context of conversation, if he chooses to listen to the woman, then the woman is telling him, you see, this gambling that you're doing has already made us broke by now.
Yeah.
You need to stop this.
And
the man chooses and the man does not listen. This is now you will see a woman leave the house because this man does not want to lead me in the right direction. I want us to save, I want us to grow, but he's gambling every coin that you're getting. So the man will lead, he will still lead, but he will lead himself. You see?
Yeah.
He will still lead, but he will lead himself.
So you ask, so the woman, okay, so that means there are some men that women should not be led by.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'd say this,
Yeah.
When it comes to leadership, you see, it's a very broad topic. But one thing that I believe in is leadership is not all about making decisions and all that. It's about how you behave yourself. Some characters. I mean, what is a leader? A woman can be a leader, but a woman cannot be the head of a family.
So a woman can be a leader for a man in a family.
But he cannot be the head.
Okay, so she can be a leader, but not in the family.
She can be a leader even in a family. She can be a leader, but she cannot be the head.
For a leader to be a leader, he has to have followers, right?
Listen, there's a difference between leadership and being the head. Leadership means lead me towards a certain direction. But being the head, it means that, yes, I will lead you towards this direction, but I am under your submission.
Does the follower has the submissions toward the leader? For the leader to be the leader, does the follower needs to submit?
Yes.
So if a woman can be a leader, that means the man has to submit to the woman.
Yeah, he has to submit to the leadership of the woman, not the woman, to the leadership of the woman.
But it's the same thing.
No.
You were saying that the woman should submit to the leadership of the man.
There is a difference between him being, you see, the man is the leader, right?
Yeah.
He is the head of the family. Being the head means that he is above everybody. The woman, the children, everybody.
Okay, let's simplify this.
Yes.
I feel head and leader is confusing. Who makes the last decisions?
Who makes the last decisions?
Yeah. The man or the woman?
I think the agreement of both of them. If they're working together, it will have to be a mutual consent because, yes, I may make the final decision, which might lead us into the wrong path. And the woman may make a decision because we have given her leadership, and then it leads us to the wrong path. So there has to be mutual agreement in that.
Is there mutual agreement in the leadership-follower relationship?
Yes, there is.
So when the government, who is the leader of the society, decides something, you have to agree. You yourself, not the population, but you yourself.
Okay, it depends on what the government is putting out.
No, if the government says you should pay your taxes and you don't agree, you still should pay your taxes because the government is the
They
leadership.
should explain, why am I paying this tax?
If they don't explain, they don't have to explain. I'm
don't have
saying
to explain.
if they even if they explain and you
Yeah.
don't agree,
Yeah.
as long as the government is the leader and you are the follower, you have to comply.
You have to comply.
Right?
Yeah.
So that means how come it's different when you're mentioning the man? Because you say that the man is the leader, the woman is the follower, but then you say that they have to agree. That's not the
Okay. You see, when we go to government issues, now this is a whole different.
No, I'm not talking about government. I'm using the government to illustrate something.
Yeah.
I'm saying if the leader is the leader,
Yeah.
and the other person is the follower or the assistant or the helper, like you said, the leader has the final say, right?
The leader has the final say. Yes.
For it to be the final say, he should not need the agreement of the other party. If he needs the agreement, then it is not the final say.
Wow. That's quite confusing for me. But one thing I'd say is there is also an aspect which I want people to understand. You see, leadership and all this has a very different, what can I say? The context also matters on what we call leadership and what we call being the head.
I gave you the context.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd say one thing. You see, in this particular thing, in this particular direction of what we're talking about, when you talk about the man being a leader,
Yeah.
it means that this man has to be sober enough to make sure that every choice that he is making, whether good or bad, will be for the benefit of this particular.
But you say that the man should be the leader because he's the man. That means he should not
The
be. He
man
doesn't have
is
to
the
be
head.
sober.
The woman can be a leader because that's why I told you there are two things here. Leadership and being the head, there are two things.
Okay.
Because leadership, I'd say leadership, it's like kingship. All right?
Okay.
Leadership is like kingship, right?
Yeah.
But now being the head means that beyond being a king, there is also your father whom you submit to. You get me? If
Yeah.
you're like right now, suppose I am a king in a certain.
But let's just simplify it.
Let's simplify.
Just
it.
imagine I'm 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So that means who should follow who? When there's the family, who should follow?
Okay. Who should follow who? What should happen is the woman should follow the man.
Because he's the man.
He's the man. He's the
So
head
even
of the
if
family.
he's not sober, she should still follow.
Then now that comes to a point of decision making.
Okay, so she should follow the man because the man is a good leader, not because he's the man.
You should follow them. Let me agree with that. Let me just agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking that because you said that. So he should follow the leadership traits. She should follow.
You should follow the leadership traits, and now that comes to the point of good leadership and bad leadership.
So
You
she should
as a
not follow
woman-
him just because he's a man.
No,
But that contradicts what you were saying. You said that God made men.
We are
to
going
lead.
in circles, and this is why I was trying to explain. You
Yeah.
see, leadership and head being the head.
Yeah.
These are two different things because you can be the head as the man is the head,
Yeah.
but not he might be the head, but not a good leader. Like our president here, he is a good politician,
Yeah.
but not a good ruler.
Okay.
You see,
Yeah.
he is a very good politician.
Yeah.
The president of Kenya is such a good politician, but now when it comes to rulership,
Yeah.
he is not a good ruler. Would we say he's a good he's a good leader? No, he's not.
Okay.
You see,
So should you follow him because he's the head?
I cannot follow him because then that is why there's the man or people.
Okay, so you cannot follow him even though he's the head, right?
There are things which I'll agree with him. There are things which I'll disagree with
So
him.
sometimes-
and now this is just a minute. The
Yeah.
reason as to why there is the back and forth in this nation right now
Yeah.
is because of one thing. The youth of this nation, or rather the people in this nation, want a certain thing that is not being done by the leaders. So what will they do? They will revolt because they're not being heard. You see?
Yeah.
They're not being heard.
It's good that they are doing that, right?
Yeah.
So
For me, I feel
sometimes it's good to revolt against the head.
in the right circumstances, in the right conditions, I'd say yes.
So sometimes the woman should not listen to the man.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Don't
Okay.
listen to the man. Don't listen to the man, but also be wise enough to submit. By submission does not mean that everything that he's telling you, if it's a wrong thing, I'm telling you, go kill that one, you just go. No.
Okay.
there's wisdom in life, and this is why I was telling you now. The spirit is what gives us that liberty to think,
Yeah.
or rather act in a certain way. If I know this is good, I'll take it. But if I know this is bad, why would I be dumb enough to take it?
Yeah, I understand.
See?
Okay. Thank you very much. This was a very insightful conversation.
Very deep
I feel
one.
like we should have a part 2.
We should have
because
a part 2 and
it
even
was
3.
so interesting. And I still have so many things I feel
True.
like we should discuss.
True.
Yeah.
There's so much depth in whatever we are talking about, and
Yeah.
I'd also wish to expound more on this.
Yeah.
So perhaps on the next one we'll be able to get deeper in this. But
Yeah.
so thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you so
Breaking
much.
Boundaries has been such an awesome show.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your wisdom. Your
Thank you for
godly
yours too.
wisdom.
Received.
So thank you very much. Thank you for watching us. And I hope you enjoyed this. So see you next time. There's definitely going to be a part 2. So stay tuned.